G'day guys, today I'm reviewing the Bluetti EB3A power station. Right off the bat, I want to let you know that this is a sponsored video. Bluetti have sent me this power station to review on my YouTube channel. In return, I get to keep the products. Pretty good deal if you ask me, but I'm going to give you my honest opinions about this. I'll also let you know I'm not the most technically savvy person when it comes to how electricity works. I know I plug my stuff in and it gets charged and all that. I know there's watts, amps and volts. Don't ask me how they work. So I won't be going into the most technical detail, but I did find a bloke online who's done the best testing of the unit, this exact unit, and he's got voltmeters and ammeters and everything. I'll leave a link to his video in the description to check out after mine in case you've got any other questions about this product that I can't or haven't answered. His channel name is Exploring Oz. Like I said, link in the description for the more technical stuff after you've watched this one. But for now, let's just get into some of the technical specifications of the unit. Alright, you might see my eyes darting a bit off camera here because I'm going to be checking my cheat sheet, which is next to the lens. I'm not so good at remembering all the numbers. But the Bluetti EB3A is capable of 268.8 watt hours. Its dimensions are 255 millimeters by 180 millimeters by 183 millimeters. It weighs 4.6 kilos. It's quite a heavy little unit. Not too heavy. It's actually lighter than I thought it would be, but whenever you get into big bulky batteries, you are going to expect some weight to it. But this one, it was lighter than I thought it would be. It is a 600 watt power output via the AC. It can do 12 volt via the cigarette lighter adapter there, DC. You've got a couple of little specialized ports here for your higher end equipment. They can do 12 volt DC as well. Two standard USB ports capable of, 5 volt DC, and the USB-C lightning port, which is perfect for your iPads and your higher end devices and stuff. That's 100 watt max output on the lightning port. Now in terms of input, we've got our main input here. That's your mains. You plug that into the wall at home or a generator using the cable that comes with it here. And that's 268 watts input. You've also got a DC input. Now that'll work with your solar panel or with your car charger. Now the solar panel and car charger cables come separately to the unit. They don't come with it, but you can order them off the Bluetti website. Okay, so basic operation of the unit. Let's get into the unit by itself with nothing plugged in first. If you hit this button, or this button one time, it will light up the screen. And from here you can see our input watts will show up here. Output watts will show up over here on the other side. Current level of charge, which is 100%, and a nice little graph there for you. And this is how long the unit expects to be able to stay powered on for. This 30 hours down the bottom. Now that's an estimate. It'll sit there for a long time with nothing plugged in. But what else have we got here? We've got 50 hertz on the screen. That's because we're in Australia, and electricity in Australia runs at 50 hertz. I know that much. If you're in America, you can change this to 60 hertz to suit American electricity or however that works. I will point out that the screen may be flashing on the video. Now, the screen is constant when I'm looking at it here in person, but because of the capture rate on the camera and the refresh rate on this screen here are differing a little bit, you'll see a little bit of a flashing effect, but that's not normally there. And the last thing I can see on the screen there is eco mode. Now, as far as I can tell, eco mode and standard mode don't have a difference apart from the fact that eco mode will shut off the unit automatically after 4 hours of charging. So if you go out, just say you leave your campsite, you've got your phones and whatever plugged in or in the car, somewhere safe obviously, don't leave your phones laying around. But it'll finish charging your devices. After 4 hours elapses, it'll turn itself off to save power in the battery. So let's just look at the unit itself. You'll notice there's lines around different things. They're grouped into sections. So all your DC outputs are in this section. Your inputs, DC and AC, are down here. Your AC output is there. And then there's a line up here as well because it's got a built-in light. I'll show you that now. It's got low mode, high mode, and SOS mode. Sorry, I don't think I pushed the button properly. Oh, you can see there, while it's running, the output will actually come up here. So on low, that's 1 watts. On high, that's 2 watts. And on SOS, that's back down to 1 watts. 1 watt. Now, with nothing plugged in, if I want to activate DC output to charge my devices using these DC ports, I just press that button while the screen's illuminated. And you can see DC's come up there now. Likewise, if I want to enable AC, I'll press this one and you'll see it now says AC. And there's no issue doing AC and DC at the same time. If you want to turn the screen off, simply hold any one of the buttons while it's not doing anything and it turns itself off. Otherwise, I think the screen turns itself off in 30 seconds or so. So in the user manual, it says an iPhone 13 will charge to full 12 to 17 times, a MacBook 5 to 6 times, a drone 5 or 6 times, a standard camera, well I say standard but it just says camera, 10 to 15 times, a power tool 2.5 to 3 hours of running time, a refrigerator 2 to 2.5 hours of running time. That's impressive. Okay, most of the mumbo jumbo's out of the way now. We're up to the fun part. Let's plug some stuff in and give it a test run. Let's see what it looks like while it's running. The first thing I'm going to plug into the power station is my mobile phone. It's currently at 69%, so I'm going to put it into a standard USB port there, press a button to bring the screen on, and then I'll press it again to turn DC output on. That says charging straight away. It's putting out 4 watts output to DC, and it says it can charge this phone for 30 hours before this station will go flat. Okay, my wife's mobile phone. I'm going to sit this on the wireless charging at the top, which I forgot to mention in my mumbo jumbo at the start. There's a wireless charging pad on the top of this unit. To enable that, I just turn on DC charging, DC enabled, pop the phone up there. There you go, charging. 77% it said in the middle there. And it's going about half of one of these standard USBs. It's only going at 2 watts. I'd say it'll charge for much longer. No, it's jumped up to 5, 7. That's going faster than the USB now. Could be this phone has a better battery because my mobile phone's very cheap. Anyway, at this output, it can charge this phone for 26 hours before depleting the battery. And the thing I'll probably use this the most for, because I'm a fishing YouTube channel, is my GoPro batteries. So there's a GoPro battery. This is a double charger. I'm going to put that, it's plugged in there. Standard USB output. It's upside down as usual. And we'll enable DC again. See the lights come on there. 2 flat GoPro batteries currently charging. And we'll just wait and see this. It's 9 watts DC output. And it'll be able to charge GoPro batteries for 21.6 hours at that rate. Alright, so my wife's 8th gen iPad. It uses the lightning port, so let's try this out on the DC power. I'll plug it in here. Turn DC charging on again. iPad charging, 12% charged. And you can see the output's even higher because these lightning ports are much faster than standard USB. So at this rate, at 12 watts DC, it'll charge for 17.3 hours. So that's multiple charges. Alright, let's plug in something that requires constant power instead of charging. This is just a cheap Kmart or Big W fan, one of the ones you pick up for about 15 bucks. So we're going to plug this into the AC output down there. So we need to enable AC, like that. AC's on. Now let's put the fan on low. So I'm pretty sure, yep, it's spinning and oscillating. Now we're getting 31 watts of power output on AC, and 30, it's sitting around 30, 31, and it's saying it can run the fan on low for about 8 hours, 8.1 hours. Let's go to medium. Alright, so now we go on 31 watts output, 7.6 hours at that speed. That's pretty good. That'll keep you cool during the tent during the day. Let's go high. Yep, that's arced up now. 33 watts output AC, still got over 7 hours of runtime on high. That is super impressive. I'm going to start taking a fan fishing, I reckon. Alright, here's a fun one. This is a 1.5 litre slow cooker. Let's plug that in. There's got nothing in it, but I'm just plugging it in for testing purposes. We're having some fun here. Even after all these tests, it's still sitting at 30 hours. Alright, let's turn on AC. AC on. Let's try on low. Alright, so here we're getting a bit of a beefier watt output. We've got 70 watts at AC, and that'll run for 3.5 hours on low. You know, that's not bad. You'd probably cook up a simple pasta sauce or something like that. Let's go high. 2.1 hours on high at 118 watts output on AC. Let's flick it to warm. So let's say we're going camping, we've got a ready to go meal, we just want to dump it in here and warm it up for later. This will be its lowest mode, I would think. Alright, so 49 watts output AC, and that will keep food warm, or warm food up, for 4.9 hours. That's unreal. Alright, so here's a whole heap of devices, and the fan's back. Let's load this thing up and see what it can really do. I've got a 4-board here. So let's plug that into the AC. Let's just plug everything in first, and then we'll turn them all on one by one. So we've got one there. Oh, we can go this end. The fan. Four boards loaded. Let's start plugging things into the device. And the crowning jewel, we'll pop that up there. Alright, so I've loaded this thing pretty much as far as I can. I've got the slow cooker, the fan, I've got 2 tablets, 2 phones, and 2 GoPro batteries. Let's start turning things on. I've got the 4 switches there off. Let's turn on AC, oh, that turns the screen on. Let's turn on AC charging. And let's turn on this first switch on the 4-board. We are charging here. And the output takes a little bit longer to show up when you're using a 4-board, I've found, so we'll just wait. There we go. So that's 17 watts. That's actually a lot higher than I thought it would be. Anyway, that's 12.8 hours. Let's add in the black cord, which is the slow cooker over there. All right. The slow cooker's still on warm. I might leave it on warm until I've turned everything on. We'll see how many watts it outputs. The third device will be the fan. I'll pop that on low, just so it doesn't make too much noise. I'll turn that up towards the end as well if we've still got some watt output remaining. So we're up to 91 watts output, 2.7 hours remaining. The fourth and final one here will be the phone over there, the Samsung. Oh, there you go. The bolt just came up. The screen's gone off to save power, but we're now up to pretty much 100 watts there. 101, 2.4 hours. So that's four devices simultaneously running and or charging off the AC power output. Let's add DC into the equation. Now, the only one I can add separately is that while they're all plugged in at once, but we'll just turn DC on as well. Turn DC on as well. There we go. iPad and phone and GoPro have all just lit up, and we're now showing 128 watts of output and 1.9 hours runtime for the power station. We've seen it's dropped down to 98%, so we're starting to draw some real power from this thing. Let's add the crowning jewel. There we go, that's now charging as well, and we're still only up to 131 watts output, 1.9 hours runtime. All right, let's crank things up. Let's go the fan on high now. 140 watts output, 1.7 hours. Let's crank this to high as well. All right, now we're cooking. So remember, the max output of this unit is 600 watts. So I'm sitting at around 1/3 of the maximum output of this unit, and I'm charging 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 devices, and I'm running 2 things as we speak that aren't charging, they're just running, both on high. Let's have a look at the screen again. 206 watts power output across AC and DC, and this will still run all of that and charge all of that for 1.2 hours. That is seriously impressive. Now, while I'm showing all these things happening, it's important to remind this unit is not made for high-end appliances, the high energy use appliances like space heaters, kettles, toasters, microwaves, stuff like that. Do not use this unit for those. It's not powerful enough. It'll just cut out, or even worse. This is made for the stuff like I've got plugged in here, and it is doing it beautifully. It's what a powerhouse. All right, so I've shown a pretty big load on it. But now I want to show an example of what I would have charging if my wife and I went camping for a weekend. So we've got my mobile phone, her mobile phone, her iPad, and my GoPro batteries. So that's pretty standard of things that we'd need charged the whole time we're out there. So that's all DC, if you'll notice. There's nothing plugged into the AC. So let's just turn DC charging on. Just give it a sec to register everything that's plugged in. The one on top's just lit up. All right, that's pretty good. Look, we've got 31 watts output to DC, and we're looking at 6.4, 6.2. The output must be going up still. There we go. Everything should be good now. So 37 watts output to DC, 6.2 hours charge time. Now you've got to think, most of these things here charge in about an hour or less. So I can charge these all at the same time about 6 times while we're camping for 2 nights. That's overkill. That's more than we need. That is exceptional. All right, so in my demonstrations for this video, you can see I've taken off only 3% of the battery in all this time showing you all that stuff. So now I'm going to show you how to charge it up. This 4-board is now plugged into the mains. That's running one of the lights for my recording setup. This one is turned off. I'm going to plug this into the unit here, and we will switch that on, and we'll watch the input number. I just heard a click from the unit, so it's accepting the power, and you can see the input now rising up to charge up the power station, and the graph is moving accordingly as well. So we're looking at 263 watts of input. I think the max of the unit that I said before was 268 input, so that's doing pretty good. It's drawing maximum power from the mains that it can, and it's going to charge, it's going to charge to full in 0.1 hours, and if you do the maths, that's about 6 minutes to charge up 3%. The other thing that's appeared on the screen here is UPS. Now that stands for uninterrupted power supply. If you've got some electronics or a fax machine or a phone or whatever at home that you need always powered, you can actually plug this into the mains and constantly run your device from this port here, and then if the power goes off, the unit will kick in, continue powering your device until the mains power comes back on and recharges the unit. A great example of what to use that uninterrupted power supply for is your modem. At home, all of our devices run on Wi-Fi now. If you've got your modem at home that runs your Wi-Fi plugged into this and the power goes off, you won't lose internet. You will keep your internet because it's all running from this station right here. Now, last night I filmed most of the demonstration of this model, and I forgot to show you one thing. I'm actually out fishing the next day, and I've remembered that I need to show you this, so I'm filming it out the bush instead. The Bluetti app, I can monitor and control this unit from the app. So let's just hit the unit to turn the screen on there. It's at 99% at the moment. I used it a little bit last night. We'll hit the connect button. Now this uses Bluetooth direct access, and there it is there, EB3A, and the rest of whatever the numbers are. Let's connect to the unit. I've plugged in my GoPro battery that's flat here already to the DC port there. Now you can see the power, you can power it off with that button, which will turn the screen off. So we're currently 99% powered. Now we see DC here. I want to turn DC charging on. It's done that. I hope this is coming out the bush here, but DC's come on the screen there. It's currently outputting 6 watts to my GoPro battery. The light, if I cover it, the light is on there. So that's charging, and I haven't touched anything on the unit apart from the initial screen display, which will allow the Bluetooth to communicate. It's a little graphic there of the power going to this. It's telling me on screen here 6 watt going to this device. So that is wonderful. I can also enable AC. There's nothing plugged into it, but you can see, I'll turn the screen back on there. AC has come on. That's not being used at the moment, but I can control that. I thought I'd show you. Let's see, what else have we got here? Settings. Okay, so eco mode, I spoke about that briefly in the video already. That's where you turn it on or off. I just leave it on because it doesn't impact the performance of the unit. Here is where I spoke about the 4 hours, so you can change the time on how long the unit will stay on while on eco mode, which is short for economy, I would assume. The LED light, let's see, can I control that here? Let's go medium. Yep, light came on straight away. High. I didn't see it adjust, but it is pretty bright out here. SOS mode. There you go. So it is changing. Very good. So I'll turn the light back off. And what else have we got here? Charging mode, standard, or I can go turbo or silent. I haven't played with that feature, so I'm not exactly sure what it'll do. I think silent will stop the internal cooling fans and stuff from powering up, which will mean it'll probably charge slower so as not to overheat as much. Turbo, I would assume it will charge quicker, but it'll make a lot of noise cooling itself back down. And powerlifting. As I said at the start of my video, the very first thing I said, I'm not sure how electricity works, and that's a setting I'm not comfortable with playing with. I'm not exactly sure, but look, I'm not even going to assume. I'm just going to leave that alone. If someone wants to tell me what powerlifting is in the comments, I'll be very happy, but I'm not going to touch that feature there. But if you know what it is, this unit is capable of it. All right, so everything's still on, DC's still charging. The last thing I'm going to do is I'll just say I'm done. Just say that's fully charged, which it's not, it is low. But just say, okay, this is indicating it's fully charged. I want to power the unit off. I just hit power off there. Are you sure you want to power off the device? Done. There you go. And if I cover that, there you go. It's not charging anymore. I'll hit this to show DC has been turned off, which meant the unit was completely disabled or turned off. I'll just turn the screen off there again. And there you have it, the Bluetti app. It's simple and it's effective. Okay, so that is my personal review of the Bluetti EB3A power station. Hopefully I've remembered everything, but I'm almost certain I've forgotten something. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop a comment down below. I'll answer it to the best of my ability, or at least try and point you in the direction of where you can find that answer. So don't forget, the links are in the description below. Go check out the unit for yourself on their website, see what you think. At the moment, when I looked at the website this morning, it's on sale for $599. I think that's about 30 bucks off. The price will change though, so go check it out for yourself. Links in the description, and I'll see you next time.